I heard he fucking with that stuff. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. They call him Ryan, he's sick and he's spitting fire and Mike got him out the dryer, he's hot. Found him in Fort Minor with top, but a fucking nihilist porcupine. He's a prick, he's a cock. The type women wanna be within rappers, hope he gets shot. 8 years in the making, patiently waiting to blow. Now the record with your notice taking over the globe. He's got a partner in crime, his shit is equally dope. You won't believe the kind of shit that comes out of this kid's throat. He's not your everyday on the block. He knows how to work with what he's got, making his way to the top. He often gets a comment on his name.
Let's get it. We're ready. Anybody else have like 100,000 tabs open on their computer? No one? Am I the only one? Dang it. I noticed right before this call, I'm like, this thing's gonna crash if I don't close out. So now we're here. We're good. We're cleaned up. How's everyone doing? Welcome to Bab. Let's go. Y'all doing good?
So good.
Cool. Get it.
Good morning, Scott Schnitzer.
I love hearing feedback. I'm glad Sarah's here with me. I'm like, I don't know if people are doing good because they're all muted, but I see some heads nodding. How are you, Sarah?
I'm so good. Blessed and
Good.
highly favored. Blessed and highly favored. Excited about the day. It's going to be a good one.
Awesome. Let's do roll call together.
Okay.
Let's get it.
I
It's
love
gonna be
it.
a good day. I've got a training put together. Actually, I've got more of a story put together. Today's gonna be a little bit different, but I think it'll be fruitful for people that are wanting to build a big agency here, which is what this call is all about.
Yep. Everybody on here wants that.
Let's get it then. Let's do some roll call. I see some people working. I see some people tuned in. Let's find out who's here to grow and learn. First question typically is where we're at for the month premium, right, Sarah?
Personal issued business.
Personal issued.
Yeah.
So throw in the chat, where are you at with personal business that's issued? I was
Yeah.
told from the very beginning, man, if you could issue somewhere between 10 to 15 grand a month, and you can add somewhere around 5 new riders a month, you will grow your business super healthy. Is that
Yeah.
kind of linear to what you've heard, Sarah?
Yeah, for sure. And if I could wave a magic wand for your AO run, and I'm going to actually bring it up. I'm on the advisory board. I might bring it up today. Actually, I actually feel like your agency owner run should have a 15,000 issued requirement of the agency owner. I think it should be 6 riders, 30K issued, and 15,000 issued business for 3 months in a row for that agency owner. I think that would lead to more profitability, better habits afterwards, a less from them, more for them mentality. They would have money in their pockets. To me, the habits that would come from that would solve a whole lot of things. So,
That is such a big vision
yeah.
point to bring up, like a company vision point to bring up. No wonder you're on the advisory board, but that's so much good fruit to it because my number one fear that when people came in here is they're gonna look at me and they're gonna be like, you don't know how to make me money. And not that I would be doing the work for them, but I'd be leading them and showing them, we call it leading from the front, but it's really just setting the example, right?
Yep. Yep. So if I get my way, hopefully I'll change that here soon. I think it would be better for everyone. So if you're not an AO yet, better get in the habit. 15K issued on your own pen
Chill,
for
is that
your
17,000 or 1,776? I gotta know.
It's 17.
Come on, girl. Let's go.
She's an
Thank
absolute
you.
boss. You don't want to
Yeah.
run into Jasmine in a back alley. Like she is frightening in the most beautiful way. Like she is a freaking boss. I
Yeah.
love Jasmine Shell. She's one you want like in your corner. I love it.
Well, I love you guys.
Hey,
Me too.
love you too.
George
Yeah.
Matthew said it in the chat, like 50% of your team production for AO run. So that lines up well with what you just
Yep.
said, Sarah. And then like write the story about how that number goes down. You know, you get to 115, 120, there should be a story there as well, because I also know you could stall out at a 120 thinking that you don't need to produce anymore, where that may be the thing that your team needs. That may be the thing that your bank account needs. That may be the thing that's going to fuel your ability to invest back into this business without feeling tight and needing from people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, huge, huge topic. That one statement you just made has so much breadth to it. We could probably do a whole call on that. What's the next one? Next roll call.
Well, what I know for sure is that if you don't have a relentless pursuit of personal growth here, I talked about this some on the AO call yesterday, right? Like this is where builders will get stuck. 100% accuracy. This is a fact, Jack. If you do not grow yourself consistently, your agency will stall out. Seen it too many times, can't talk me out of it. So, what are you reading? And not just reading, but like reading. What are you listening to? What are you reading? Gap in the Gain, Coaching Habit, second time. Yep, Tara, Self-Aware Leader. I'm reading that a second time, actually. Ooh, you guys have read Fierce Conversations or Crucial Conversations. I would recommend both of those things.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's good. I got it on my shelf.
Yep, that helps in your family life and just personal conversations and business conversations. Both of those are really good. Business Made Simple, Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I would read that again, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I know Maxwell and Ed Milet are going through their podcast together, going over each law.
Yeah, it's good. I picked up after Dylan Crane ran the AO Mastermind call. I picked up High Road Leadership. This is also a really good one by our guy John Maxwell. So I'm digging through that, and believe it or not, I'm digging through a book called The Locker Room Notes, Sarah.
Oh,
It's the guy that built Primerica basically took down all the notes from every one of his meetings, and he did something pretty incredible. I mean, they had what over 150,000 agents at one point,
yeah.
all warm market, all built through no marketing spend, which is pretty incredible. So I go back through it, it's got every one of his meeting notes of every meeting
Wow.
that he ran. So I'm just like picking the things that I like and spitting out the bones, and it's cool.
Cool. Never heard of that.
What
Yeah.
was the name of it again, Scott?
The locker room notes.
Is that Art Williams, Scott?
Yes, sir. Yeah, locker room notes by Art Williams. It's a good
Oh,
one.
Art.
Yeah.
He's the one that do it, right? Like he's the video where
Yep.
he's like, just do it and just do it.
He wrote
Yeah.
Pushing Up People, which is what recommended to me.
Yeah, I'll find that video and put it in the chat. Whenever I start complaining, Jacob just sends me that video back in the day. I was like, okay, all right, sir.
He's a power positive leadership type of person, but he's also got this like gritty like undertone to all of his messaging, so it's cool. What's the next one?
Well, new writers. Where's Melinda? Lady Melinda sent me a message. She got her 5 yellow bars. 5 yellow bars, what I know to be a fact, and this is kept it very, very simple. Jacob Pogue and Marshall Whalen taught me 5 yellow bars means you're growing. Two or three, this isn't a base shop. So if you're growing an agency, the goal is to get to five. If you're a key leader, two or three is going to get you by, but five is always the minimum goal. Five, you're growing. Two or three, you're stable. Less than that, you're going backwards. Javon, two? How do we get to two? Oh, sir. So
Javon, Javon
new
needs
writers
another
in your
goal.
agency. What? Let's see it.
I was gonna say Javon needs another. Actually, Javon's probably gonna pull it out this month. Let's have some faith in him.
I'm just glad he's sad about it. That means he feels it and he knows, like he's learned. So he knows. I love it. Yeah, Lady Melinda got over five. She sent me a big message. Amy Slaughter, four. Good.
I just hit my 5 direct, but I feel like there could be two or three more by the end of the week.
Yeah. If I have less than five, I feel like I'm drowning. It makes me feel very uncomfortable if I don't have yellow bars in there. Mhm. Yep. All right. So yellow bars, they're reading, personal production. Oh, conference.
Yeah, who's got their
Talk about
conference ticket?
that.
Put a put a 7 in the chat.
Amanda, yes, she gets antsy. I was actually talking to our group about this, about investment. Jared and I have always got an owner's pack, even when it hurt. Do you remember getting an owner's pack when it hurt a little?
Yeah,
George,
I
you're
I
nodding
also
your
got
head.
my first one on a payment plan, and I freaked
Yes.
out every time the payment was due.
Oh, being at conference, they're like, and in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, they're promoting conference. Like this is in my head. If I had a speech bubble, I'm like, oh my God. Amanda knows. I was like, oh God,
I
because
started buying it for the next year at conference, and I'm like, dude, we haven't even checked out the
I
hotel
know. I
bill.
don't even
Like,
know. Yeah, I don't even know if I can pay for the hotel. They want me to pay for an owner's pack. Like, oh, but then we've done it every time, every single time. And so if you're feeling a little like, oh, that $220, feel it and do it. Feel it and do it anyway. Figure it out. Go sell a policy, cover it. Because what our agency knows is the Reinekes are still investing. They're still investing. And if you're building an agency and you don't have at minimum your ticket, if not an owner's pack, get off this call. Like it makes me crazy. You cannot not have your conference ticket and think you're going to build an agency. Period. If your name is not on somebody's board for having a conference ticket, you're not building. You're not doing it. That 220 has got to be your minimum investment, and your team has to know you're going. Your team has to know, even if you don't have a team yet, you're hiring right now. They need to get on your next call and see your name on a board that you got a ticket. Period.
And like we
The
want to work
investment has to always match it.
we want to work with you. There's an 85% chance we won't be working with you by
Right.
September 2027 if you're not there. And those aren't my stats.
No.
I've heard a lot. I heard Christina say it was high as like 95 or
Yeah.
90 yesterday on the
Yep.
national call. I've taken those stats from a few different leaders that kind of have gone through their numbers from the previous years, but that's
Yep.
important. And then like two, if this $220 makes you cringe a little bit, like get in the room. We'll teach you how to make that sound like a peanut. You'll learn things and see things and hear things that'll make that bill feel like a little peanut in your life, and you won't sweat it.
Yeah.
You'll come home inspired to go do something way bigger than worry about a $220 ticket.
For sure. But I just want you to know that uncomfortable, like, God, 220. We felt it, but for us, it was 2000 when we're getting ready to pay for a hotel. It all correlates, right? I promise you, George was nodding his head. I'm nodding my head like, oh God.
Yeah, Sarah, there's an old saying out there, find someone who has what you want, do what they do, and you'll get what
Yes.
they got. And you always say success, success leaves clues. We
Yeah.
look at what Symmetry does, the duplication business, right? We
Yeah.
look at what Symmetry does, the investment they make, the
Yep.
loss they know they're going to take up front, by taking everybody out of the field. So it's like, if that's what they do, then that's
Yep.
what we should do. It's like,
Yep.
it doesn't take, a rocket surgeon to do that.
Yep. Yep. Amanda's always like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "Just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off." Like I don't ever feel like it in that moment. I don't. I don't. But so if you don't feel like it, that's normal. Do it anyway. Figure it out. It matters. All right, that's it. Roll call done. Scott,
Cool.
ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, I'm super ready to rock and roll. The main thing that I want you, because I really have two trainings built into one here, and they're not, like I said at the beginning, it's not really a training, it's more of me telling a story and then sharing some points that I've pulled from the journey. And that this, like I said, it could be two trainings, but the main message that I want you guys to get today, the main thing that I want you to walk away with is something that Ashley Tarr, the lady that hired me in this business, told me all the time, more than she told me anything else. And she kept reminding me through every season, through every up and down, that like, hey man, you're writing your story. That's the main thing she kept telling me is, hey man, you're writing your story. How do you want it to be written? And like when I heard that question, I always felt like this fire and this responsibility and this ownership piece over it. It made me a little bit nervous and fired up at the same time because I had a responsibility to it, I felt like. And I just wanted to write a good story. And I knew that someday I had this vision when I was very new, and you guys are going to see how new I was when I started because I'm going to show you the numbers. Didn't know anything about life insurance, but I knew someday I'm going to have a team of people that are going to look at me and they're going to say, "Can I be successful here?" And I'm going to want this story in my back pocket to be able to tell them. And so not only do I want you to feel that you're writing your story and that this is something that's happening right now, but I also want you to physically write it. Like create a slideshow on Canva of your journey, or journal, or keep a note in your phone. I have several ways that I've tracked along the years. One of them is a spreadsheet, and how it started out was my personal production, Kate's personal production, our total amount of APV submitted for the month, our total amount of applications, our writers, our new writers, and our income. And we had that spreadsheet, and every single month we filled it out. So I got to see how going from 135K my first year in income led to over 200 my second year, over 400 my third year, uh, will be close to 700 my fourth year. This is where we're right now in the journey. And there's no way I could have like told this story to you guys with as much impact if I didn't show you the steps along the way. Because most people look at it and they're like, cool, that's awesome, good for you. But you want to know how. You want to know what was built into that. What steps did I take and who did I hire and when? And when did I really put the gas on production and what was I focused on during those times? So this is just my journey. I get the mic today because Sarah asked me to do this, and so I'm going to tell a little bit of my story. And I want you to be thinking, what does yours mean? Like, I want you to think about
Come on.
maybe taking
Here.
some time after this and going and writing your story. Take a look back. Can I share, Amanda? Is that legal for me to do today? I got the power. Cool. So, first and foremost, you are writing your story, and I've got this awesome feeling all the time, Sarah. I don't know if you feel it too, but I just keep reminding myself, and my wife and people on my team hear this all the time from me, is I'm building my dream while living it. Because at the end of the day, I would take a fifth of the income right now or less, and I would also start over at a 70%, which is where I came in at, if I got to live this life of being home with my family, getting to experience things with them, getting to, actually be present, getting to make decisions and feel like I have ownership over the schedule that I'm running and the things that I'm doing and the people that I'm surrounding myself with. I would do it all over again. And I would actually start off probably at a 40% if they offered it to me because I didn't know any different when I started here. I was like, oh, 70%? Sick. I bet you George Matthews started at a 50. He didn't care. He started and he went after it you know? So you guys start off at 80% here. It's great. I'm here to tell you, I'd start off way lower and I'd do it all over again. And I'd do that right now. Like they can start me back at the very beginning. I'd still fight for it just as hard because I want what this opportunity offers my family. So I'm building my dream while living it. I get to live it right now because life is pretty fun. I'm not in the, like Casey was talking about on the accountability call yesterday, I'm not in that like struggle phase anymore, Sarah. Like I get to dream now and like I get to make impact now, which is the coolest job in the entire world. Like it's amazing. But I do remember the struggle. It wasn't that long ago. Okay. And there's struggles in every step of the journey. Just know that. I've had one of the toughest weeks I have ever had building an agency and in personal life this week. There have been things that could have taken me out of the game. I've had a tough week outside of this business, to be honest with you guys. I lost a very close friend on Monday, and life hits you, and every single lesson is gonna, or every single step of the journey is gonna have lessons. Okay? Understand that. But I'm not struggling anymore with finances, which is a great feeling too. All right, so you are writing your story. Now, I want to take you back to my very first month here in the business. This was August 2022. I made this a long time ago, so I'm just laughing that I took screenshots from my Instagram because I probably would have used AI if I built it again today. But I built this my very first year at the end of the first year, and I had this like playbook back of like what happened the first year and like what did we do? What did production look like? What did personal production look like? What did the building look like? And this was my very first month in the business. It was August 2022, and this is a picture from conference. If you guys can see here from this view on this second picture, I'm all the way in the back
Babe,
watching.
I'm
What's that, Kate?
gonna interrupt because it's too good. Make it full screen so everybody can see better.
Oh, yeah, I got you. All right. So this was August 2022. I had started building a team before I went full time. So Kate's production and Liz's production, which is my cousin, I hired them before I started. Their production actually helped me get a couple promotions. That was pretty cool. Okay. So I got it bumped up to 90% contract level. Thankful I was building a team. I wrote like 3 or 4 policies in the previous months leading up to this, but this is when I went full time. Okay. So I'm at conference and I'll tell the story about that here in just a second, but APV was 9,000 for the team. We had 3 writers, no new writers that month. It was just the 3 of us. We put in 14 applications. You guys can see Kate and I's personal production there. Pretty good, huh, guys? Pretty good. 3,300 and 2,100. Now, this is where it gets even better. I decided at that conference that I was leaving my family business and starting this agency full time. This is part of my story. I've told this so many times. I've just never showed you guys pictures. All right. I wrote this Instagram post while I was on the bridge in downtown Denver on the second day of conference. My family thought I was coming home to still work the family business. I posted this on Instagram. So God had different plans. I said, it's August 18th, 2022. Some stories are worth saving. Here's one for the books. I knew because Ashley already told me you're writing your story right now. So what did I want to do? Go set the stage for the story. She had told me that a couple times leading up to that conference. You're writing your story, you're writing your story. She reminded Kate that too. So when I got to conference, I wanted to start the first chapter off with a bang. So I left my family business and I started my business here. Okay. It says I started my new business with wifey. I'm diving all the way in and I'm acknowledging that I don't have to have it all figured out to take a leap of faith. Faith is actually the exact opposite. Faith is believing in the unseen. I had no proof other than 2187 in APV, which probably didn't pay out. All right, I'll take you to September. I earned a 95% slingshot at that month. Kate and I were like starting to do some social media. The team that we were on had a social media team, so we did this fun little video to start try to recruiting. We did all warm market our first year. So I wanted to acknowledge that these videos and the different posts I was doing on Instagram attracted us some new agents that year. So we were starting to grow. We went from 3 riders to 6 riders the next month. I did a 100-mile race that month, a foot race, and completed it in like 28 hours. It was insane. But I think the different races and the different challenges I did throughout the first year, it was really monumental for my journey because I was making things outside of this business harder than the things that were inside of this business. There you go. That's why you should work out. That's why you should do hard things. You should make the things outside of this business harder than the things that are in it. It's just my belief. If you think that dialing is hard, that's not even the hard part. Sitting with a family and having them tell you we don't want to give you our bank account info is the hard part. Okay. If you think the dial is the hard part, you're not even to the part that's the hard part, in my opinion. All right. So I think you make things outside of this business hard. And this business will be really good to you because you'll just be the person that overcomes. If you live a pretty soft life right now, this business is probably pretty harsh to you because the ups and downs are gonna swing you more. So anyways, you guys can see the numbers there. We're at 50,000 APV that month. We're getting a lot better. Kate wrote 26 grand that month. She came home from conference and said, "Let's freaking go." Okay, that's why conference is important too. I wrote 14. That was my second month full time. And I was running into Kate's office and I'm like, "How are you doing this way better than me?" And she's like, "Well, bro, I'm triple dialing and I'm following up with everybody. Like, go back to your office and do it. Whoever doesn't write an app today has to make dinner." That's the game we played every day. Like, I'm thankful that I had Kate. Now, a lot of people look at our journey and they're like, "Well, having your spouse in the business makes it easier." It actually doesn't. I was making over 200 grand a year before I came to Symmetry. She was making around 100. We left both of those incomes behind to start this from zero. So instead of me having her income and saying like, "Well, we'll use your income for leads." No, it was like ground zero. We both started around the same time. So we both were taking leaps of faith in this, and we didn't have one person's income to say, "Well, I can at least pay the mortgage if you don't make any money on production this month." Okay, so we had to make it work. I knew how to win. Kate knew how to win, but we had to figure out how to win here. All right, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. This was December. We did an agency owner photo shoot before we even hit agency owner, Sarah. We were like, we're walking into this season. Sarah was like, "Man, you guys didn't even get like the head nod and you guys went out there and did that." But yes, we did because we believed it. So we went and did this agency owner photo shoot because we wanted content to be able to keep telling our story online. And like we posted these pictures after hitting agency owner and we had a bunch of content to post and I didn't have to use selfies anymore of me walking on the bridge, you know? So I'm very thankful for that photo shoot. We spent a lot on it. We made a little bit of a leap of faith there, but I knew that we were going to use the content for a year or two to come. So we did our quote unquote agency owner photo shoot 2 months before we hit agency owner. So we were in our first month. Awesome. We're growing. We have 12 riders now. Okay. 3 new riders that month. We did 80 grand almost in APV. You guys can see our personal production. I actually beat Kate that month. That was my first time beating Kate. It was December. Okay. Now we go into March and that's when we hit agency owner. We're at the, Sarah, you're going to love this. We're at the leadership conference in Asheville. Bring it back. Bring it back. We want that. We want that back. It was a really cool event and we got celebrated by the leaders in our company or within our agency that month for hitting agency owner. That month we did 85,000 in business, 11 riders. So we shrunk a little bit. We lost a few people, but we added 3 more. And you guys can see our personal production. I beat Kate again. I just want to acknowledge that. Okay. That month we hired our first admin. And I probably would have hired this person sooner. I actually give coaching on people hiring this person sooner, but Kate and I were juggling that admin role. So I feel like we delayed that way too long. But I would probably have started at key leader, which would have been my second month here, if I knew better. Okay. because a lot of the stuff that we were doing, getting ready for team calls and pulling numbers and creating graphics and slides for people, all that stuff could have been mitigated and we could have focused on production. Because look what happened here. We walk into agency ownership and we're like, man, we got this. We're agency owners now. 4,500 in premium for me, zero for Kate. That's the agency owner syndrome. That's what happens when you hit agency owner and you take your foot off the gas. We had our worst month ever that month, but Danny Young stepped into our lives. We started having dinners with him. It's just cool to paint this journey of when he entered into our world and started breathing life into us. He told us the agency owner was just the beginning. And he's like, don't sweat it. This is just the beginning. Like, you guys are going to build something beautiful here. And you just started breathing all that life into us. And I'm so thankful for it. Huge part of my story. Danny and I and Kate went to 16 dinners at that same restaurant. You guys can tell those pictures are the same. We sat in that same exact table every single time because that's Danny's table at Ruth Chris. No one gets to sit there. He makes a reservation ahead of time and they block it off for him. So that was pretty cool. Sabina's on the call. I see her in the chat. She's been there. We sat there at that same table together. And instead of me sitting there getting life breathed into me, Danny sat there and breathed life into her. We were passing that on to a new agent on our team. This was a couple of months ago. Like those tables and those conversations are a big part of my journey. And I hope that was impactful for Sabina as well, because I know it helped me out a lot. Then we get to May, just a couple pictures here. We found out that we were having a baby. We met our dream team at a meeting. We started linking arms with Michael Matthews and Christina Watts, and I met Jamie in person for the first time at that conference. And man, it's just cool to look back. I'm gonna speed through this a little bit. By July, we're at 80 grand still. 13 riders. We built our way back up, and my personal production, I stayed on the gas, and Kate pulled back a little bit to help out with other areas of the business. We go on to our second conference, and we are on stage getting acknowledged for this was actually an Impact Player Award. And it was cool. Kate was super pregnant at this conference. I can just look back and see the journey, like adding a kid to the mix while building a business and like figuring this whole thing out. It's just, we laugh at it now. It's like, why did we decide to start a business and have a kid at the same time? Fast forward a little bit. I remember our first 100 application month. We actually finished at 125 apps that month, 180 grand in APV, and I wrote 52 of it. This was my best month in production. And this is the month that I hired Toby to manage our issue paid business. So we have two staff members now. Kate is pulling her foot back on the gas to help out more with recruiting, and I'm putting my foot on the gas to produce more. All right, this is all within the first year. So now we're at the end of the very first year. All right, so I painted you a little bit of a picture there. I didn't want to leave out the birth of our son. This was a couple months into that to year two. Liam was born. Such a cute picture. It's crazy. Now he's like running into my office telling me that he just went poop on the potty. So times have changed. But this is part of my story, guys, and I wanted to show you the numbers behind it. I think this also tells a story as well. That very first year was around 401,000. Right now we're 6 months into 2026. We're at 2.8 million. But just look at the growth in riders, in new riders. That's what tells the story here, and that's what Danny kept saying at all of those dinners. So I can look back and tell the story of what took place, but I remember the conversations too. And I probably wouldn't give much credit to those things unless I took time to sit down and write this story. So again, I'm going to encourage you today, go write your story, pull pictures from your phone. Remember text, like take screenshots of text messages, like really maybe journal after an impactful conversation with a leader, because these are pivotal moments. I know now every conference has been a mile marker on my life, because I can look back at every single conference and I can look to see how much I've changed, how much I've grown as a person, and look how much my family's changed. Now we have 2 kids, right? We got a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, and the business is growing. And it's not just numbers, it's people. We have incredible leaders on our team that we get to spend life with now. So I just wanted to paint this picture for you guys and just encourage you to do the same. Okay, but I know a lot of you are kind of wanting some practical stuff here from this call. So there's my story from the first year. Now we're going to get practical. I think the first year really came down to just a level of obsession. Like, right, Sarah, you came in and got obsessed with this. You got obsessed with people. You got obsessed with leadership. You got obsessed with growing an agency. You actually, thankful for all of us, you got obsessed with culture, which impacted the entire company. I think that's your superpower of what you've done here with Symmetry. You think bringing the leaderboards back to an email is your biggest accomplishment here. I think it's the fact that your fingerprints are on every single culture here, on every single agency within Symmetry. So that's the stuff that I want you guys to think about. Is it's not just the numbers, it's the people. But there were some practical things that I did the very first year that carried out through the first 3 years that I want to share with you guys today. All right, these are called my non-negotiables. And I can remember back to the very first year, Jim, I heard a call that Jim did, and he posted his on that call. And I decided to do the same thing for myself because Jim was growing fast, he was crushing it, and I wanted to do what people that were winning were doing. So he had this list of non-negotiables. So I stole it from him and I made them my own. Okay. And these were my non-negotiables every single week in and week out. I didn't do them every once in a while. This was my goal. This was the bar every single week. And number one started off with the alarm goes off at 5:30. And it's cool to see how I've even grown from this because now having kids, I have to wake up a couple hours before they wake up just to get these things done. And now it's 4:30. Like I've even grown in my ability to wake up earlier and do harder things. But when I started the business, it was wake up at 5:30, hydrate, read, exercise, get into my Bible. I wanted to start the day off with balance and on a good foot, with exercise, with nutrition. Like I just wanted to attack this business like an athlete and be sustainable. I didn't want to burn out. Okay. And then number two, I wanted to decide ahead of time every single week when I'm working. And this is one, Sarah and I have done calendar trainings together. We have focused a lot of time, effort, and energy on coaching agents on calendar and on time management. I will say that, just like the cliche saying that everyone hears, if you don't run your calendar is going to run you. So you need to sit down, whether it's Sunday night or before you leave your office on Saturday, and decide when you're working ahead of time. Okay. That stuff really matters. And the number three for me was being in the virtual office while I'm working. If I was going to build a culture and I was going to be a leader that people trusted to follow, I needed to be around. I needed to be present. Okay. So we have this beautiful Mac room now that we're all in right now. Like, are you on camera? Are you present? Are you showing up to work? Can your people find you when they want to find you? Or are they sitting back saying like, man, Scott's always asking me to be in here. I never see him in here. Oh, he's a 130. He doesn't need it. The best compliment I get from my agents right now is like, man, you're on accountability call every single day and you're in the Mac room every single day and you don't need to be. Like, yeah, it's just built in me because I've done it from day one. And I decided from day one that I wanted to live dial 3 times a week because we didn't have this beautiful Mac room schedule that we do now. It was just me and like Kate and a couple other people. And I needed to I wanted to show the way. So I wanted to be there live dialing a couple times a week. So I made it a goal to do it 3 times a week. Guys, I'm telling you, this changed my entire game. If you can be brave enough to step into live dialing, you're going to level up so much. It's going to be a game changer. Like I can remember so many people on my team, the moment before they started live dialing and their production and their results after they started live dialing. It's crazy. It's wild. I wish we could just share testimony on that right now. So that was number three. Number four was be present for at least 2 of the team Zoom calls, camera on, engaging in the comments. Back then, my upline had a whole call calendar. All right. And I had a busy schedule, but I honored the fact that I knew that I needed to show up and be on camera and engaged to take something from it. If I showed up off camera and I showed up not engaged, I may have missed something that I really needed. So I decided if I'm going to show up, I'm going to show up that way and not the opposite. If I couldn't be there mentally and I couldn't be there engaged and on camera, I just wouldn't show up at all. So I didn't bite off 5 calls a week. I just bit off 2. I'm like, all right, I can be really good for 2 calls and really try to get something from these 2 calls. All right. And then number 5, it was attend national call for me. The builders call. We had this at the time. I think they took it away probably like a year and a half ago. I can't remember exactly when that was, Sarah, but they had a builders call every week. And then we had deep dive with the sales experts every single week. And those were like I need to get filled up calls with just like you guys are on this today. You want to learn something new? Maybe you'll take one thing from this call. That was me. And I'm still on this call every single Thursday, Sarah. I take notes. I am hungry for this call. because you invite guests on that are going to give me the key to the next level of my journey. So I had those from day one, national call, builders call, deep dive, not missing every single week I'm on it. It was actually funny when we got home from the hospital with Liam, I made a mistake and it was a Thursday and the deep dive came on at my house and I'm like, wait, we just got home from the hospital. I got to turn this off. It was just automatic. So I'm not super proud of that, but it was such an automatic thing. Even turned it on the day we got home from the hospital. Okay. Number 6, engage in Slack conversations, celebrate, ask questions. Guys, before you have someone celebrating you, you got to go out and celebrate some other people. Okay. So if you're brand new, hop in your team Slack group and go gas everybody up. You're going to make friends. You're going to gain influence that way. You're going to gain likability within the team. Be the team member that you want to be. So you're the one commenting on, like, go first in this. I promise you, you will gain more influence than you ever realize. Go first in celebrating people. Go first in posting in Slack. Go first in sharing your wins once you have them. I promise you, it'll do way more for you than you think it will. And your team matters, right? Like that team culture matters. So just be the team member that you would want to have. Really important. And that was a non-negotiable for me. Every time someone posted a win, I'm in there commenting. And I am proud to say right now, Sarah, I am still commenting on every single win in my Slack group. Okay, I'm still I go, and even if it's on the treadmill the next morning and I got 10 minutes, I'm going back to every APV win from the previous day and I'm commenting on it. And that's just a staple for me. I thought I would get too busy for that. You're never too busy for a good culture. That's something that you should be proud of and that you should keep in your calendar always. And like just stay close to it because your relativity within your agency is your closeness to it, right? Stay close to your people. You know, if you're not producing anymore, still stay close to your people. All right. Yeah, you're never too busy to celebrate. I learned that from Giovanna Mitru. She's the best celebrator on our team. All right, number 8, talk to 15 people about this opportunity, bare minimum. Now, for me, it was warm market when I was new. So that was 15 conversations that I was generating from text messages and outbound DMs in Instagram. I used an Instagram strategy where I would go to my stories and watch who was watching them, and I would just send them messages. It was just like the best way I knew to like start a conversation with somebody about this opportunity. I would send them the corporate overview video. I would hop on a call with them and maybe we would hire them, maybe we wouldn't. But I wanted to have 15 conversations a week. All right. And I skipped over this one, sit on 10 appointments per week and commit to all the work that it takes to do that. Now, I was not a elite producer. I'm still not. I capped out at top producer. I'm proud of that. Kate still like tells me every once in a while now, she's like, yeah, but like you're not a lead producer. Maybe you should just hop back in and do it if you're not a wuss. Sarah, like, we share calendar stuff all the time. Like, do you think that would help me or hurt me right now? Can you back me up?
It's gonna hurt you right now, but I'm giggling because that's the kind of conversations in the Reineke house too. Like some people are like, he should not talk to her like that, or vice versa. I'm like, it's just how we communicate.
No,
It's just
she's
how
like,
we
you worthless
Yeah.
wuss. You're not an elite producer yet, so don't talk like one.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm
Same. Mhm.
I'm just kidding. But we talk crap. We fire each other up. But I knew at that time like I wasn't going to be the best producer, Sarah, but I strung together 36 5K weeks in a row. I'm proud of that. It wasn't Jake Van Dusen production, it wasn't Dylan Crane production, but I strung together 36 5K weeks in a row. And I knew how to do it so well that it became easy. And the work didn't get easier. It just became it became a momentum thing. It became a rhythm, and rhythm in your business is really good. That's why I think you should never have a blank week where you don't write at least 2 applications all the way to the top of this thing. Okay? Because when you take a week off, it could feel like a month. I promise you. I've done it a few times where I came back from that blank week and I'm like, I don't even know how to write business anymore. 2 apps every week. That's how you stay in it. And I wanted to celebrate the 5K week. And I got to a point where the company started celebrating it, Sarah. And, I like leaderboards just like you do. And I'm like, I'm going to string together as many of these as possible. So it became an operating system. Will I allow myself to leave my office without a 5K week? Because you get to Friday and you got a fork in the road. What kind of person are you going to be? Is that an operating system or is that a wish or a want? Is it a need or a want? right? Like, no, I need to hit that. That's my operating system. I told myself I would. I need to. So this is more than it is a non-negotiable list. It's an operating system. This is how I operated. And guys, these things aren't like one of them alone is not knock it out of the park. But you string together like a 80% good week on these 10 things, you're going to stack wins for sure. And this may look a little bit different from you. Choose your like pick your season that you're in right now and maybe edit a few of these, but like come up with like what do I operate off of every single week? And for me that was coaching with at least one scheduled coaching session per week. It was either with gosh, at the time it was either with Danny or with Jamie or with Sarah or one of the other leaders in the company, and I would at least make sure I had one coaching session per week. I needed perspective, and I didn't bug the same person every single time because I think a few of those leaders would be like, all right, but you're not on my team. So like, what do you need? Where's the end result of this? They probably would have said yes, actually. But I spread that out between a couple different leaders. I got coaching every single week, and I met with my running buddies bi-weekly, no matter what. I think that my running buddies became more impactful than anything else in this business. The people who I was running with, the people who I was committed to showing up for, my sideline buddies. We got so close and we had so much impact coming from that group that last year they asked us to speak on stage. We decided to be the Avengers and talk about why it was so important to have a running buddy group. Like that wasn't the vision when it started, even though I think Christina threw it out at one time, like, what if they let us be on stage at conference one day, like all together? But it didn't start with that goal. It just started as like, okay, Craig's a couple steps ahead of us. Christina and I are like run into, he's doing some things that we're not like, let's steal ideas from him. We got like Michael Matthews, is way better producer than us. Like, let's steal some ideas from him. And we all took something from each other. Like, I think they can say the same thing. Like, they wanted to steal stuff from Scott and Kate, and they wanted to implement that into their business. So I think those running buddies were so important. Um, and this is my operating system, guys. This is what I went off of.
Can
So
I have so much to say. So I
yeah,
just can't stand it. I don't know if
I
you
was
have
just gonna
seven
ask
more
you to
slides.
chime in. Maybe we
That's
can
okay.
like expand on a few of these things and bring up some
I'm
good.
obsessed. I'm obsessed and I'm inspired and I need to just write mine out as well. Like they're swimming around in my head, but I'm inspired right now to write mine out, post it, like frame it. I think this is so, so powerful. A couple of things that I'm thinking about. I think about Jordan Hunt talking about TNT. Guys, look at all 10 of these things. These are takes no talent. Every single person on this call can do all 10 of these things. These are takes no talent, right? You don't have to be a professional speaker. You don't have to be an elite producer to do any of these things. These are all take no talent things. But whenever you meet with someone at conference and you're like, man, I get 5 minutes with Scott, or I get 5 minutes with a Danny Young, or whoever it is that you finally get to meet, and your question is, what leads are you working? Are you kidding me? Your question's got to be, what are your non-negotiables? What does your morning look like? What does your personal growth and development process look like? How do you fit that in? What are your non-negotiables would be a really, really great question to ask a top leader in this business. And if you ask me, I promise you, I'll be prepared because I do have a lot of them. And I'm the same, like I'm so hardwired for national call. I can be on vacation and we're like, no, we're not going to do it today, but I'm so hardwired to get on that call. It's just one of my non-negotiables, right? This is the key to the kingdom. Who are you? What are you made of? What can people count on you for? If you know Scott and Kate, you can count on them to do these things. So when you think about you as a builder, the people that you're hiring, what can they count on you for? Where can they find you? What is the most consistent thing about you as a leader? And to write these out, it's just so smart. It's so smart.
Thank you. Jim's were a little bit different when I saw his the first time, but there was a couple things in my season that I needed. Like I needed to sit on 10 appointments a week. He wasn't, I don't think that was on his at the time. He was a little bit ahead of me in the game, but I kind of formed these into like what do I need right now? And Ashley always told me I spoke about this at the beginning, Sarah. She's like, issue 10 to 15 grand a month and in 5 yellow bars is what you call them now. But she really said 5 new direct writers to you a month and you will grow.
Yep.
And so I had to add both those things in there because about 60 conversations for me led to 5 new writers a month consistently. And I've gone through these numbers on previous builders calls. I've done the stats. Like that 60 conversations to me, it was about a 60-day lag But if I started today, brand new, and I'm having 60 conversations a month, or you guys can call them interviews if you're doing cold market, that's going to lead to 5 new riders for me 60 days from now. So if you're a brand new builder, that those are the numbers for me. I don't know about Sarah's numbers, I don't know about Trisha's numbers, but for me, I would need to have about 60 conversations this month to have 5 new riders to me, direct to me 2 or 3 months from now. So when we talked about at the beginning of the call, roll call, how many direct riders do you have right now? That wasn't a result of this month's work. That was actually a result of the work that you did 90 days ago. So
Yeah.
you got to realize that if you want to start building, it's not a I'm going to have it start building a team today, right? It's like now I'm going to start building the team that's going to show up 60 to 90 days from now. You don't just turn that on. So if you're procrastinating the building process, just know that there's that lag. So if you're not building right now, you're really not building 90 days from now either.
Right. And if you think about like it, the and I we talked about this in our accountability call this morning. The key to the kingdom here is doing things you don't want to do over and over and over again, whether you feel like it or not. Guys, you just said Scott lost a close friend, hard things in his business, hard things in their life and moving, transition, hard things going on. Did he show up the same today? Yes. Yes. Like last week was a really, really hard week in our world, in our business. Like there was a lot of the most stressful I have been in a week of business in a very long time was last week. Could you tell it last Thursday? You could not tell it. Whenever I feel like just can't get there, I've got this going on. You have to learn to show up the same way, no matter what's going on. Obviously, having a baby, big, big, big things. I'm not taking away from that, but like those muscles are so important. Okay, I want to talk about a couple things in particular. Okay, so I see the running buddies and I see people over here saying, I want to find my running buddy. Make sure you're running first. That's always my thing. Don't be sitting hoping someone's going to pick you up. If you're going to offer to be a running buddy, make sure you're running first. It's very, very important.
I attracted those ones just as much as I was attracted to them.
Yeah.
Like there was an energy from day one where we all knew we could take something from each other from day one, which was really the goal of starting that. It's like, hey, I see my inefficiencies and they are actually
Yep.
strengths in you. So I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Okay, coaching. So this is where people are like, man, I just need good coaching. I just need to talk to Sarah, I need to talk to Scott, whatever. So here's what I would say, and especially those people that are frustrated with their upline, right? Their mentors. There's plenty of that you hear about. So what I would say is ask yourself a question: what do I need to do or be to earn some time with Scott or Sarah, whoever it is that inspires you? And if I did get time on their calendar, what 2 or 3 questions would I ask them specifically? A little bit of prep work on the front end, as opposed to I just need some time with them, need to pick their brain. Think about what you need to do. Are you serving in the Mac room? Are you showing up in here every single week, camera on? Are you engaging in the chat to where we're going to know who you are? Like, what are you doing on the front end? What work are you doing? And what questions do you specifically want to learn from whoever it is that you would like to get on their calendar? Just something to think about. Mhm. Okay, number 6. Can we talk about this one? I think what happens here, a lot of times I see builders, I just have to stay in my lane. I just have to do my thing. What happens to leaders who don't engage in Slack, who don't get involved into the conversations in the Mac room, don't come in camera on? Ultimately, I think I know the answer. I would love to hear your thoughts. When people get stuck in that place, what happens to their growing agency
It bottlenecks like
every time?
yeah, you stop you'll stop feeling the momentum and yeah, you'll just have a bottleneck and it'll
Yeah.
definitely be like the culture being the leading indicator and then it will result in APV later on down the road. And that could be a quick process for you in between A and B. It could be the next month where you're like, man, the chatter's gone down and like no one, my team call has 20 less people on it this month than it did last month. And people aren't excited posting their wins in Slack anymore. And then the trailing indicator is like, oh, APV's down. We gotta sell more. Guys, can we sell more? It's kind of backwards.
Yep. Yep. And if you think about if you could design, which we've done this before on this call, if you could design your perfect agency, would you most likely have an active chat full of people shouting out wins? Put a one in the chat if you want an agency full of people doing that. If you want an agency full of people doing that, fun fact, number six, you got to be the person doing this. And it might, like Scott, you saying you stop and respond to everything. I'm like, dang it, Scott, calling me freaking up, calling me out, whatever you want to say. Like, I'll get better at that. I'll get better at that because of this call right now. Like, I can acknowledge it's a place I need to grow, need to get better. Because to be honest, number six is hard for me. I am busy. I'm in my own world. I'm working on stuff. I have to stop and think intentionally and specifically put in my calendar, stop and talk in Slack. It's not natural for me at all, but it's important.
Yeah, it has to be calendar. Like if it's not a strategy, it's not happening at this point in our lives, Sarah. If there's
Yeah.
no if there's no calendar to back it, or there's no like they talk about in Atomic Habits, like the cues that lead up to the habit that you want to build. For me, it's like the calendar reminder or the place in the thing that I'm doing while I do that. So for me, I always end my workout in the morning with about 15 minutes just walking uphill on the treadmill.
Yeah.
That's when I like respond to Instagram messages and post things sometimes, and I'm always responding in Slack during those first 15 minutes of the day. So
Yeah.
everyone can wake up with celebration from their wins from the previous day. But guys, I think if you need revival in this area, one, be the change that you want to see. And I know that sounds cliche, but just go start a party. Just go celebrate people relentlessly. But also too, as a leader now, I can't do it alone. So I've at certain different times had to pull several leaders aside and say, "Hey, I need your help with something. Like, can I get your help?" And if they want to help me, I've brought up these things like, "Hey, look, our Slack, like this affects all of us. Our Slack is pretty quiet lately, and I know that the trailing indicator to that is like we shrink a little bit in one area or another. Would you be willing to help me bring that back to life?" And I get a couple people on board with that, and we go get it going again together. Because it takes a couple people when you have a large Slack group, or maybe it's just you and 10 other people. It's going to take you. Um, but that's one thing that I've rallied other leaders around because I know how important it is for their business too. We can all get on the same page when I ask for help in that area. It's like, yeah, we understand that this actually does.
So if we go through this, let's just start at number two. Put a two in the chat if you would love to have an agency full of people that do what they say they're going to do on their calendar. Right.
What
Okay.
about what's
Three.
happening at 30? We started.
Three. Do you want an agency full of people that are in the workroom, live dialing, getting better? Put a three in the chat if you want an agency full of people who are doing that. Four, if you want them to show up to your team calls with camera on and engaging in the comments. Four. Yeah. Five, if you want them to attend national call, this builder call, and to be present, put a five. Six, if you want an agency full of people who are engaging in Slack and are being positive in there. Yes. Do you want an agency full of people? Put a seven that are sitting on 10 appointments a week. Eight, if you want people that are talking to 15 people a week, whether that's interviews or warm market. Nine, if you want people who are coachable, who are good mentees and become good mentors. If you want to be a good mentor, you better be a good mentee. I still don't turn corners without talking to Jacob. I still don't. I still don't. And I get coaching from Scott. I get coaching from all kinds of people that I admire. I got coaching from Brad Smith 2 days ago. I get coaching from Brian Delaney for sure. And then 10, put a 10 in the chat if you want people who find good running buddies that hold them accountable. This is simple math, man. Simple math. And I skipped number one because number one, it goes back to what Kate said earlier. You have to learn to do hard things. You have to train your body. I do hard things. I do things when I don't want to do them. I get up early. Do you think I feel like getting up early and going? No, I never once feel like getting up and going early in the morning. Never once do, right? But it's training your brain to do the hard things. So let me ask you this last but not least, put a one in the chat if you want an agency full of people who do hard things when they don't feel like doing them. That's the key. It's the key to all of it because the other nine fall underneath I do hard things, right? So if you want an agency full of people that do 1 through 10, simple math, you got to be the person doing 1 through 10. not for a day, not for a week, not for a month, for a very, very, very long time. I'm just going to be real with you. Scott didn't do these non negotiables for a week. Scott has done these for years. Years. It's got to start with a day. It's got to start with a week. It's got to start with a month. But it's a long time of being consistent because what makes me second level crazy is whenever, like, I'm going to do it. And then they do it for a week.
I'm just curious. Maybe someone within their first 6 months can unmute for me. What do you think would happen if you ran this play or something very similar for 3 years? This is subjective, I know. I'm just fishing for an answer here. It doesn't have to be the one I'm looking for. Someone said Rich in the comments. Unmute for me. What would this do? For
Hey,
3 years.
Scott, I'll speak up, even though I'm way out of my depth here.
Okay. Who is it?
Uh, it would be the kind of freedom that I've dreamed about my entire working career.
That's legit. Who just said that?
Brian.
My name's
Brian?
Brian. I'm under Christy Dole.
Nice to meet you, man.
Awesome.
Hey,
Right on.
Evelyn said millionaire.
I said Rich. I said
Okay.
Rich.
You said Rich.
I'm in Texas. I came out here after my Ignite. I'm under you and Venus, and I've been there's been a lot going on, but yeah, I can see it, and it's gonna happen, and I'll be happy when it's done.
Stacey, you're a
I don't.
baller. I just spoke
I'm
up.
happy.
Yeah, so I wasn't looking for a specific answer there. Kate and I hit 130 in 34 months, and
Perfect.
we didn't take a vacation in that time. We didn't take many weekends off. It was
Mhm.
a lot of mundane, a lot of the same things every week.
Yep.
I will tell you guys now, I don't need to do number 7 anymore. I don't have a lot of time for it, which is a
Mhm.
beautiful thing. Okay. And that's kind of where I wanted my business to get is to give me time freedom and to give me
Me
flexibility
too.
and, give me the impact of income. I would love to write a few policies this week, but the beautiful thing is about my agency that I've built, I don't have time to do it. Okay. So if a client comes my way, one of my new agents is probably getting that deal. All right. I think that I read this post from Scottie Pippen this morning. It came up like literally while I was preparing this. He said, "Nobody teaches you that discipline feels like punishment until the results start to feel like freedom." So I'm die on this hill that like discipline equals freedom. I'm not the first one to say that. I was able to quantify this operating system every single week. And here's what an operating system is, Sarah. When that decision comes into your brain, how does it filter out? When you have every decision's a fork in the road, this way or that way, right? So an operating system is like, you guys know Sarah's operating system. We could probably pin these down pretty well because of the way that she shows up. 4 people, present, engaged, chooses energy, right? Like those are some things from her operating system. I had to like quantify this for the business as well. So yeah, I want to encourage you guys as we close out here, just your story is so important because you're going to use it. You're going to get, Sarah's going to call you someday and say, "Hey, be on the BABB call." And you're going to say, "Oh, I've had a really tough week. I have no idea what to talk about." And then you're going to be like, "Oh, duh, I have my story." So I can go into autopilot and I don't have to create something new. I can just tell my story. So that's what I did for you guys today. But I think the one that you're building is so important when you realize that this is the story that you're going to be telling agents in the future of the beautiful team you're going to build. And then ending with the non-negotiables, I just wanted to show you guys like practically, actually, how do I implement steady growth for myself as I'm building a team. So that's all I got, Sarah.
Oh, I'm blown away. I'm with George. I'm like, who misses this call? I don't even understand. I know people catch replays, and I'm actually very gracious about that. Like we want the freedom for people to catch replays for sure. If you want to make a lot of money here, it's about building a big agency. Average 130s make $50,000 a month. If we know that to be true, which that is a fact, I wouldn't say it unless I believed it to be true. I know it to be true. If we know that to be true, what wouldn't you do? That rhymes. And Scott just gave you literally the keys to the kingdom. Doing those things consistently for a very, very long time. If anybody told you this was a short sprint, I'm so sorry to be the one to break the news. It is not. And if somebody told you this was one fight, it's not. It's more fights. Someone told you that it was going to be one bump in the road. Sorry, there's going to be more than that. If you're going to, do you think there's any job in the world that you can make $50,000 and it's supposed to be an easy road to get there? No, but when you look at those 10, Scott, like none of those things are climbing Mount Everest. None of those things is
None of them
running.
stand alone as impossible. That's the
No.
cool part. Yeah.
None of them are impossible. Absolutely. This was so great. I think this is actually one of those calls that should be put into your phone to re-listen to again and again because it's so simple and so implementable today. And I am going to commit to getting my non-negotiables written down and I will send them to you before I leave town, Scott. So thank you for inspiring me.
No doubt. All right, that's it. We're at 11:01. Love you guys. Let's go out and crush the end of the month. Like we got 2 days left to make this thing happen for promotions and get things issued by mid next week. So let's have fun. Let's get after it and reach out if you guys ever need anything. See y'all.